All right, everyone, it's time for another exciting installment of people that were deplatformed or almost deplatformed in the last 24 hours. It seems to be, I'm going to have to do like a daily update, I guess, about this. It is a targeted harassment campaign. That much is definitively at this point clear. With what happened to Molyneux and what happened to Mark Dice, at this point, at some point, we've got to declare it for what it is. This is a corporate attack upon the independent media trying to harass us. It's almost criminal because it literally, if we were doing this to some random individual on YouTube, some random YouTuber, it would be considered harassment. They'd probably file a successful lawsuit. They'd say, hey, people are derping out on all of my content. They're constantly false flagging it. They're harassing me. I'm not doing anything wrong. I have the right to use this platform. I'm not breaking any rules. Leave me the fuck alone. And most, the liberals would be receptive to that, but because the alt media engages in political banter, it becomes magically okay. They don't even know anything about these people. They think, there was a hit piece from yesterday, I think it was Mark Rothschild, which is hilarious, because, is he related to the really, really corrupt billion-dollar Rothschilds? Probably is, or Rockefeller or something. It was a hit piece there, and they're like, oh, in the wake of Alex Jones being kicked off, here are some more extremists that are on YouTube. And it's sort of like the right-wing watch hit piece that involved people like me and Molyneux before. And this one, I think it was Cernovich, Sam Harris, I think Mark Dice is on there, and Laura Loomer. So it's like you've got these people, all of them have disavowed bigotry. None of them are actually bigoted. And yet they keep getting attacked. I wonder why. It's because they do actual on-the-ground journalism, mostly, number one. Number two, semi-professional setup, which gives them an air of trustworthiness, maybe, that people with just a webcam in their bedroom don't have. I think that's slightly not reality, but that's the way that it's perceived. It's branding, really. And they're not bigoted. They're semi-professional, and or they tend to make more. They have large audiences. And that's really the metric for whether they're going to be deplatformed. So what happened the other day is that Molyneux got a couple strikes. So he comes out with a video on BitChute, of course, because, he can't upload to YouTube at that point. He's like, oh, I might get banned off YouTube. They're trying, I'm being attacked. I've set everything to private. You can join me on free domain, or you can join me, here on BitChute or whatever. But I might not be on YouTube anymore after, 14 years? He said some insane number. After years and years, I've got hundreds of millions of views and hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and I don't do anything wrong. My content is ultimately PG-13 rated, which it basically is. He's not an out there individual. After all this time, YouTube's basically telling me to fuck myself, so I might have to fuck off under a bus or something. And it's like, it's a total harassment campaign. And then the strikes get appealed. Less than 24 hours later, I wonder why they get repealed. The strikes go away, so now we can upload and everything. So in other words, the strikes were legitimate. I want YouTube to come out and affirm to its creator community, yes, where indeed we are going to protect your livelihood and your ability to use our platform if you're doing nothing wrong. We're aware of the fact that larger creators are being brigaded by left-wingers. Because that's really what's happening. Well, not really left-wingers, really, it's the corporate media. It's just some of these left-wing groups like ShareBlue or Media Matters are useful idiots for corporations that really don't even represent them. The old guard legacy media. Every single person who is being deplatformed falls under certain categories that are not that large. The audience sizes that we're talking about are spectacularly large, multiple hundreds of thousands of people at least. Very few people on YouTube or any of these other platforms have an audience of that size. Conduct real-world journalism and or have like a sort of pro studio setup, like a show setup, live streaming and stuff like that. Many political commentators, myself included, don't really do that. I don't go out and do the journalism thing. I don't sit there in an actual office. I have, this is basically a small home office. It's not even quite semi-pro, it's rather informal. I happen to like it. Some people don't. Some people want the shiny desk and mugs and stuff like that. My idea of the mug, I just slap the Ouroboros on it. It's fine with me. It's like, does it hold coffee? Okay, I don't care if it's a chiseled rock then. Give me my coffee. So Molyneux gets, almost deplatformed. Strikes were legitimate. They were the result of a coordinated harassment campaign. Now he's fine. Then Mark Dice gets locked on Twitter, and I believe since he's tweeting right now, he probably got that cleared up. But again, all of these attacks are illegitimate. They're always launched against people who aren't actually hateful. Time and time and time again, the people that are getting deplatformed are not actual, like, jackbootlickers. The jackbootlickers are the ones that are attacking them. And this keeps happening over and over. YouTube needs to come out at some point and respond to this in a very direct way. They need to put out like a literal press release and say, we are aware that groups of people that are politically motivated and or corporatistic in nature are fucking around with our content creators. We're tired of it, we're telling you that it's happening, and we're going to try to shield people. There's a very simple way to take care of this whole problem, which is becoming a problem for YouTube's reputation among its own creators. Here's how you solve it. Anyone who has above a certain arbitrary number of subscribers, views, whatever, they've been on the platform long enough, special status for them so that anytime there is a flagging of one of their videos, it is automatically manually reviewed. The algorithm does not automatically issue a strike. Trusted flaggers are not involved, only YouTube's moderators. None of us signed up to this network in the first place to be moderated by third-party groups. The only people we ever wanted to moderate YouTube were YouTube staff. Ultimately, I have a feeling that the NGOs are responsible for a lot of these illegitimate strikes, and then YouTube has to go around and clean up after them. It's becoming a branding issue. I don't even think Google quite understands how dire the situation is and how much opinion on the site has changed. YouTube had incredible brand loyalty until a couple of years ago. Even after that, loyalty to the brand remained relatively high, but now it's beginning to crumble. I'm seeing people that I know absolutely they're not far right, they're not even on the right, they're like far left sometimes. They're getting deplatformed, they're getting attacked because they do political commentary and they compete with the legacy media and they don't trust necessarily all of the NGOs to moderate everything on the fucking internet. They're being crushed underfoot and people are getting tired of it. The problem being, most people that are on these platforms are fans of at least one of these larger creators on some platform. Most people are. PewDiePie weighs in the other day on the InfoWars thing. Even he thinks that it's a coordinated harassment campaign. Of course it is. It's so obviously a coordinated campaign. It can't be anything else. Look, I'm going to put forward a situation here for you. And this should shock you a little bit. This should worry you. Either the big tech firms are working together to deplatform people or they're not. If they are, then they are a trust, because the corporations are not competing. They're not competing to offer services to people who have out there political opinions. No, it's an activity of a trust. Well, then our antitrust laws need to be utilized to break their corporate monopolies apart. That's possibility one. Possibility two, which is the one I favor, is the big tech firms don't give a fuck themselves. Behind the scenes, NGOs and the legacy media are coordinating these attacks. The problem being, those groups partner directly with the US government. That would be a breach of the First Amendment. It would not be a private company making any decision. It would be public firms and groups that are directly tied to the US government. They partner with them, they donate to them, they get kickbacks from them, they do everything for them and with them. They would be the ones making the decision. That would be a violation of the concept of a free press and of free speech. Absolutely it would. It breaks the law. Either way, laws are being broken right now with these mass deplatformings. Either under our antitrust laws or under the concept that media that partners directly with the US government and works on their behalf should not be attempting to deplatform its competitors. It would be no different than, let's say I've got the Styx Hexenhammer car wash, and I spread a rumor about the competing car wash across town that the dude is sleeping around with other people's wives. I could get in big trouble for that. It's defamatory. This is de facto defamation anyway. To false flag someone is to make a statement, essentially, that that person is breaking a rule. They're doing something that's against the rule, potentially against the law. To make that claim, if it is not legitimate, should itself be a criminal act. Yeah, that's one of the few things that should be policed on these sites. False flagging and brigading. Absolutely. And trust me, YouTube and these sites know when a brigading is happening. Zuckerberg knew it. He openly talked about it in the context of people flagging InfoWars. Kind of is like, oh, a lot of people are flagging this content. I wonder if this is a bad faith brigading. Of course it is. That's the whole fucking point. Unfortunately, by bending over and giving into these people and giving them what they want, the moral panic individuals, you're just incentivizing them to not only keep doing that, but to actually do it more often. That's why the moral panic will eventually kill itself, because pretty soon everyone will be deplatformed left and right. everyone's going to spend half their time on these sites appealing strikes. And even though we probably mostly prevail in the end, it's going to take a hell of a lot of effort, and it's time that we could be using making videos or shit posting on Twitter instead of constantly having to defend ourselves against spurious accusations. So yeah, Molyneux was almost deplatformed, so yeah, there's another individual, again, another individual who just got done on a whirlwind tour of Australia for political and social reasons, and then Mark Dice, who, it's fucking self-explanatory. Meanwhile, more hit pieces going up left and right about alt tech and about every alt creator in the entire fucking world. Just like back when BuzzFeed made the shitty claim, which isn't even true, that alt tech means alt-right technology. No, it doesn't. It means alternative, as in an alternative to sites that don't care about their user base. Sites that wouldn't exist if old tech cared about its user base. That's about all. Peace out.